こんにちは。今週毎日子供と話してください。頑張ってね。Last week we talked about reading. So if you missed last week's video, just click the link below and check it out. This week, we're going to talk about the beginning steps to speaking. Next week, let's dive in deeper with study tips and tricks to help grow your grammar and vocabulary. And then the week after that, I want to do a video about speaking more in depth. But right now, today is all about getting started, getting used to the words in our mouth, starting to speak the language, and let's just welcome that second language into our home and to our children. Hit the subscribe button to show your support and to make sure you see the videos each week. All right, now let's jump right in with my 3 tips this week. Tip 1, phrase learning. In the beginning, phrase learning is a great way to start speaking correctly. It's a great way to kind of introduce your brain to the new grammar and vocab you're going to be learning. And it's a great way to introduce the language to your children who, remember, they don't need to learn the whys and the hows of the grammar. They just learn from talking and listening to mom and dad speak. There are free phrase books all over the internet. Pop over to Google, type your preferred language in a phrase book. So a phrase book is like a language dictionary, but instead of single words, it lists the most commonly used phrases. So there are some words that are always paired with certain verbs or certain pronouns and things like this. So learning it as a complete phrase is sometimes really helpful. Kind of like instead of learning the word teeth and then later learning the word brush, you just learn brush your teeth as a set phrase. And that's what we're going to start with, learning with phrases. You can take phrases from cartoons, from live action media with the minority subtitles. You can, of course, take phrases from books. All of those resources we were using for listening, we can pause that and write down the phrases that we hear and use them in context in our everyday life. Right now, the biggest craze with kids is watching other kids play on YouTube. My kids' media is all in Japanese, so that's great. When that kid says some slang or something that I know I can use with my kids later, or I know that I think that, Jason should be saying that, I just pause it, write it down in my notebook, and then later we'll use it in context together. Baby Bus and Ping Fong are great sources for listening and learning phrases from. They're adorable cartoons, and they always have the subtitles self-made, really big and user-friendly. I've put the links below for the Spanish and Japanese channels in Ping Fong and Baby Bus. The way me and my kids learn new words, vocabulary, and phrases is by using them in our everyday life in context. So don't just get out your notebook and start writing random phrases down. No, write down the ones that mean something to you and your kids right now. So you probably won't be saying, let's find the train station anytime soon. But you will be saying things like, don't make a mess pretty frequently. Chirakasanai. So you write that down in your notebook. And then remember how we were labeling things around the house? You want to find where that phrase would most commonly be said. So I would say that where my kids eat. They eat at their little kids' table. So I would label above, on the wall above the table and write Chirakasanai. And then I put different adjectives that I might use to help them describe their food. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and I'll put this up. Maybe get a really cute poster off Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of cute language posters already made. Type in sweet and salty in Japanese and see those cute little emojis already there, and you just print that out, boom, pop it on the wall. The kids think it's adorable, and it's easy for you to reference. So that's what this is about, adding the language naturally into your kids' life. At the beginning of the week, write down a few phrases. that you can work into your lives this week. And then at the beginning of each week, you just add a few more. And that's how we slowly build up. And before you know it, you're not looking at your notebook anymore. You're not looking at the labels. You kind of just know those first week phrases. And now you're concentrating on week 2's phrases. And that's how we build up and we learn the language with our kids. At the beginning of each week, you want to pick a few phrases, maybe 2 or 3, that you can incorporate into your life that week. Start with their favorite foods, favorite toys, favorite places to go, their daily natural routine. Brush your teeth, brush your hair, put on your shoes. Phrases like this, that's what we're going to start on. And then each beginning of each week, every week, we're going to add 2 or 3 more, 2 or 3 more. And that's how we're going to slowly incorporate language learning with our kids. Follow me on Facebook to see what we're learning each week. And you can follow me on Instagram, Chocolate Sushiro, to see our daily adventures in Japan. So now that you got some phrases, what are you going to do with them? Let's go to tip 2. Tip 2, repetition. To start using our new words and grammar and phrases, we have to use repetition. If we get saying it again and again, your kids will also hear it again and again, and then eventually they will say it again and again too. So we're going to use repetition. That is our friend. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. So a good trick right in the beginning is you can use English and Japanese. Say something in English first and then follow it up with the Japanese phrase if you know it. So for example, you walk in the kitchen, you want to tell your daughter to wash the dishes. Say, wash the dishes please. Shoki o natte kudasai. And then you keep adding these double phrases in, and once you feel like your child knows the phrase in just the second language, phase out the English, and now you can just use the second language. So with Jason, for instance, when we learned the word to sit down, not only are we going to do the motion for sit down when we say it, we say, Jason, sit down. Suwatte kudasai. Jason, sit down. Suwatte. Olivia, suwatte kudasai. Sit down, please. And we're saying both, and it's building their vocabulary in both languages. Don't worry, kids do not get confused. And when I feel that they know suwatte means sit down, now I can just say, Jason, suwatte. Good job. Jason, suwatte. Yes. And so now he knows. And now we can just use the Japanese. No worries about saying everything twice. I live by the rule that we are bilingual. Everything around us is bilingual. We have bilingual books. We have bilingual posters. We have bilingual television. We have bilingual friends. So if we live in this bilingual world, it's fine. Like, as long as you provide a need for their second language, it's okay if mommy speaks bilingual. I speak English and I speak Japanese. Even the Google Home is bilingual, which, by the way, is a great resource. So you can add a second language to your Google Home or your Alexas. Just go on the app and add a second language. If you need help with that, message me, comment below, and I'll be glad to help you with anything language related. So let's look at my Google Home. Hey Google, good morning.
Good evening, Tiara and Lamario. The time is 6:02 p.m. Right now in Sagamihara, it's 54 with rain. Tonight,
Hey,
it's predicted to be...
Stop. Hey Google, ohayou gozaimasu.
こんばんは、ティアラ&ラマリオさん。現在の時刻は18時2分です。では、素敵な一日をお過ごしください。
Hey Google, stop. So, this is a great resource. If I don't know a word, quick, call over to Google and say, what is this word in Japanese? What is this word in Spanish? And it'll let you know. Keep it simple though. Long phrases won't work. It's a great resource for the kids. Jason loves playing with the Google Home. He will ask it math questions, he will ask it animal sounds, all the time, and he just gets so excited when it answers in Japanese. So make everything around you bilingual, make it fun, keep it interesting for the kids. Speaking of, let's go to tip 3. The traditional way of learning with flashcards is boring. So let's try to find something interesting and interactive and age appropriate for your child to do each week. So for instance, if you're learning the weather, yes, of course we're gonna say the weather when it is that weather outside, but let's find a way to make that interactive and to practice it in the home. So during bath time, you can sprinkle water over their head and say, oh, it's raining in your target language. When it's not bath time, you can just catch them in the hallways, sprinkle water over their head and say, it's raining in your target language. They'll think it's a fun game, and you guys can have a like catch me if you can kind of game going on in the background. Like they'll randomly get you with some water and say it's raining in the target language. And it'll be fun and engaging, and they will remember that vocabulary. When you plan a fun activity, you can do the same activity twice in both languages. So on Monday, if you did a Mother's or Father's Day gift in English, you can place emphasis on the words like mom, dad, holiday, love, things like this. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, just another day, you can do the same activity in Japanese or whatever your preferred language is, and then place emphasis on the same words. Haha, chichi, aisuru, kokoro, yasumi, like this. And that way they kind of have that connection. Again, like I was saying earlier, it's all about making it fun and interactive. So act it out, play charades, but like lifestyle charades about your daily life. So if you're saying brush your teeth, don't just say brush your teeth. You need to brush your teeth and do the motions. You need to put on the hat when you're learning, put the hat on. So make those flashcards or those phrases or those words in your notebook really come alive for the child. Because trust me, if the child is imagining you doing that silly thing, that whatever you did when you said the word, they're going to remember that word. They're going to be like, oh my goodness. They might have that embarrassed look, but they're going to remember that word. So just really make it fun. Play charades with the words and phrases. My last fun trick for you is running commentary. Do commentary of your whole life all day. It's the best way to get you speaking, get them listening, and everybody involved. Announce everything. For example, for dinner, I'm going in the kitchen. I am taking out the vegetables. I'm opening the fridge. I'm getting the milk. I'm cutting the carrots. Announce everything. You use your new vocabulary, you saying phrases, they're listening, they probably are laughing, thinking it's funny that you're saying everything. And again, you can use the other trick where you say it in English and in your target language. So you can say, I'm going in the kitchen. Dairokoro eiku. Say both, literally. And that way they can understand as well as engage in that second language. Hit the subscribe button. Next week, we're going to start talking about study tricks and tips for adults to start learning. So far, we've been talking about the children and how to get them started and get them listening and learning. And now we need to learn some real grammar, some real vocabulary so we can continue fostering their walk. Yes? So hit the subscribe button and I will see you next week. Jane!
Google. Okay, Google. 1たす1は何？
答えは2です。
答えは2で。4たす4は
答えは8です。
8。